We should have, I believe, Stephanie Gandy, the GB and Sheffield Hatters player, on the line.
Is she there?
Yes.
Hiya, how are we doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Thanks for joining us this evening. I know you've got training, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah, yes.
So I'll try and make it as quick as possible.
Or as slow as possible.
First of all, talk to me about the Hatters season. It's obviously been a relative success.
Yeah. I think we're have a few new players in, and we were trying to at the beginning build upon that when the season started. But now I think we're starting to find our feet a bit more, and you can tell on the basketball court in the way we're playing now.
And what about the WBBL? Obviously, it's inaugural season. What have you made of it? Has it lifted the game in terms of the actual playing of the game and off-court stuff as well?
Yeah, I think you can notice a lot more promotion as far as women's basketball now. I think it's a bigger thing paired with the men's BBL side of it. I just think the strategy and promoting it is fantastic right now.
And what about obviously GB have got the women's Eurobasket coming up, having qualified for that. What are you kind of thinking about that? Do you think that's going to be, how far can we go?
I think we can do very well. I know we're all planning on being at 2016, hopefully. So I think that's our mindset now. We've done the beating teams here and there. I think now we're set on 2016. And I think we've grown as a team over the last few years, working hard, and people know our grit and effort with GB. And I think now we're looking at a bigger picture, more than just winning a few things now.
And do you think the WBBL is already contributing to an improved kind of GB team? Do you think that's going to increase the number of talented players within the GB setup, this new league?
Yeah, definitely. I think the WBBL has brought a bit more opportunity with a bit more money and things like that people look for when they come out to play in England. So I think it is going to help the outlook on GB this summer. More talented younger players having facilities to train and things like that to prepare for the summer and to get better. So I think, it's going to definitely help the GB team.
Stephanie, we've had a few coaches on the shows over the last couple of weeks, and they've said that playing basketball, actually booking a court, can be quite expensive, and it's quite often an issue for less profitable clubs, for instance. What do you think can be done moving forward to stop that, to help clubs that perhaps aren't as successful or established?
I think as far as you're definitely right from that stance. It is difficult and it's costly to run a team. And that's just the bottom line. I think maybe with the community, maybe getting a bit more involved in women's basketball. I know football is big over here, and you get a lot of donations and things like that. We're a charitable organization, the Hatters, so we're self-funded, and it's very difficult. No one gets paid and things like that. The committee that works 24/7 to make us a better club. No one sees those people behind the scenes working for free.
That's right.
And I think that if the community gets involved a bit more and more sponsorships that look at women's basketball as a genuine sport.
Yeah.
Because it seems to be overlooked a bit with football and rugby in this country, I think, whereas in different countries it's different, and you can tell.
Yeah, I think it does. And also as well, social media is a massive help to anyone looking for funding now as well. And I know that you said you commented on that at the beginning of the interview. Do you think that more can be done, maybe a bit of a social media push? I mean, you can buy followers now. It's quite easy. Not that I have or any of mine, by the way, but you can. You can. There are ways in which you can get more following and more fans, I guess, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely. Myself, I've just gotten on Twitter at the beginning of the year.
Well
I thought it would be good. Someone suggested it. Oh, you're a GB player. You should be on. I'm like, why should I be on Twitter? But now people are like, oh, you can put everything on there. People can see it, so they don't have to physically speak to you. They can just go to a site and see what your team's doing and how the club's doing, and you can promote yourself in that way. That's the easy way of promoting yourself, a free way of doing it.
Yeah.
What's it like working with Betty Cadona up in Sheffield?
It's good. It's good. Betty knows a lot. That's all I can say. She knows a lot. She built basketball from the ground up here in Sheffield, and you can tell her hard work that she's still putting in to this day. about like teaching the younger kids from age 5 and upwards. Like, not many clubs have that facility and opportunity for kids that young to start at basketball, which most kids do need to start at that age if you want to be at a certain level by the time you're 15, 16. And I think she's made that happen. I think she talks to a lot of people, tries to get a lot of things done, and she has proven it with being a winningest team in Sheffield. So.
In terms of GB, I think they're looking for a women's coach. Is that correct?
Not heard that rumor.
Ooh. We heard it here first.
We don't hear much as far as when it comes to GB. They say, "Oh, you're in a team at the end of April. Camp starts May 1st. You're there." I think that's the extent of what we hear about things like that.
Is that something you want to get into after your kind of careers come to an end? Coaching, is that what you're looking at afterwards?
Whoa, yeah, not really.
Not quite there yet, Tom.
People say I'm good at it, but it's the whole stress of it's too much. I know how it is to coach me, and I would not be. let's just say that it's difficult trying to motivate and constantly get players to basically do what they're being told. And it's one of those situations where, oh yeah, you're good at it, you know the game, you should get into it. Nah. It is not for me. It's not for everybody.
Oh, brilliant.
Well, we've got 2 Barking Abbey players with us. First of all, what are your thoughts on the Barking Abbey team?
When I see Barking Abbey on the schedule, I really think bring some shin pads and guards and whatnot when you go to Barking Abbey. That's what I'm thinking. No, they're a tough team. They're a well-coached team. I welcome the challenge when we play teams like that. Them, Northumbria, Loughborough, Nottingham, tough teams, physical teams.
Yeah.
About the BBL, obviously, there's a kind of a mix of experienced players that have played for your GBs, the WNBA, as we've heard on this show, and quite a good number of young players as well coming through, playing against them. Do you think that's kind of a good thing to have these young players playing against such experience?
Yeah, definitely. I think you can see the younger players that play in the Division I England League and the WBBL, like the 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds who's trying to get a spot at under 20s and some at the senior level. And I think it's really good to play against older players. I've always played against older players, and it hasn't done me any harm. So.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us on the phone this evening, and enjoy the rest of your training.
Yep, no worries. Thank you.
All right, cheers. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
So, bring your shin pads, eh? You never told us that.
You've been very quiet.
So, obviously, quite a tough game. You know, quite something to prepare for. Do you think that Stephanie was right there by saying that, you know, a lot of our British teams are tough ones?
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
Everybody knows when you play GB or any British team, they're gonna get after it. They're gonna want to win. They're not gonna give you the win. So you definitely, whenever you play any team in GB, you've got to go for it.
It makes sense though, because you know here she is, and everyone said this on the show that you know you do have to pay to play now. Pretty much, you don't get paid. No. I'm an actor; I never get paid. There's no view in the future. I'll never get paid either. But I mean, obviously, what comes from that is a passion, and you see that actors work for free because they love what they do. Yeah. And it's the same with you guys. You know, you love to play, you want to play, you even pay to play, and that's what you're having to do. So it's not a surprise to me that you know English teams are tough because we have to be. Yeah. It's the only way.
It's true. Very true.
Is that the same through all the youth levels as well? Do you think there's kind of a fear of GB a little bit physically?
Well, yeah, I can give an example. When we went to Scotland for under-13 England, I know a Scottish girl and she was scared to play our team. So yeah, it spreads that England or GB is a tough team.
We mean business,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. So youth all the way up to seniors, we're tough. So,
What have you found, Evelyn? Is that the same with you? Is there a fear factor of yourself?
Like even when you play like we both play junior basketball under 18s, and like you just know that some teams just really fear your team, like just really scared, and some of them even like pull out of the game or postpone it because they just don't want to play it.
That's sad.
This is horrible.
We're a scaremonger in basketball. But, you know, obviously you mean business and everyone knows that, and it's great for them to know that.
Yeah, exactly.
And then play you as well.
Can you sense that you're going to win a game when have you ever gone to a game and gone, we're definitely going to win this game? I can tell it just by their kind of demeanour. Vibe.
Well, you think that you'll think that at one game and then end up losing it. So then you completely remove that from your mind because you're going to lose the game. Because as soon as you go into a game thinking you've won it, then you're just going to do things wrong. You're going to make mistakes. So.
Interesting. Jack Kendall said the same thing, actually. He said you can't make that assumption. You still have to play the game and focus on those seconds there as well.
Exactly.
Interesting.
I'm interested in kind of how you both got into basketball, because it's obviously not something that you see a lot of people going into.
No.
So how did that, what's the story, basically?
Well, I actually got into it when I started secondary school. And one of the PE teachers at my school, St Angela's, is a coach for Newham Youngbloods, Caroline Charles. Yeah. So yeah, she's like a big coach in basketball, been around for a really long time. So she just like spotted me like messing around, like, oh, you should come join my Youngbloods team. I was like, okay, so I came through. And from there, that's where it all started. And then I ended up, like a season later, I moved to Haringey Angels, where I met Savannah. She also played for Haringey. And I played there from under 14s to under 18s. And then currently I'm back at Newham Youngbloods under 18s because my final season, and I'm also playing WBBL with Barking Abbey. So it's great that I get to play under 18s and senior basketball.
Wow.
So,
That's pretty much
so you're both kind of playing and playing and playing. You talked about playing for your school, you talked about playing for the Newham Youngbloods, so it's just like keep them games coming.
Yeah, definitely. I got into basketball because my older brother played, but he's my half brother, so we didn't see each other much, and my other siblings, we always complain like, well, Bradley, when are you going to come round? So he played for England.
Come round.
He played for England, so I thought a way for me to get closer to my brother is to do what he does. So I started playing basketball with Haringey Angels, which was like the closest club to his club. So then as I started playing basketball, he started watching some of my games. He would come round.
This is a tear-jerking show today. You get me all sad about family.
Yeah, so that was my inspiration.
Oh, that's lovely.
Do you think you could go on to achieve more than him? Is that something as well?
I would like to say yes, because you have to, but I think he would want me to achieve more. He's that type of brother. He's currently working away, so he's always messaging me, how's basketball, how's this, how's that, so it's very nice. Yeah.
So it's completely different stories, basically. You've kind of got the family ties. You obviously play with your sister as well. You obviously play with her sister as well, and her. Yeah. But different ways of getting into it. So basically, I guess what you say to people that are looking to get into it, it's not always a conventional route into the sport.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to people kind of, the age when you got into the sport?
Well, for me, it was like I kept putting my head down, kept thinking I'm not as good as the people I'm playing against. Okay. But if you're a younger player, you've just got to enjoy it. You've honestly just got to enjoy it. Yeah. Every moment is just a moment to improve, so just enjoy it all the time.
Yeah, and definitely just have to enjoy the moment, and like just keep working hard and practicing. Like even when we played for Haringey, we faced like such like big players for our age group, like Shaquila, Janice, Jay, and like, who are all now in America playing college basketball and like doing really well. So it's like, always hard at every training session. You got to mark one of them, like So you just have to keep working hard and like pushing yourself. Like even when you think you can't do something, there's always someone out there that knows that you can do it, and even them pushing you as well means a lot.
So I think the main message we're kind of getting throughout the show is it's all about the work, isn't it?
Yeah,
put
definitely.
it in. Yeah, put the work in.
Put the work in, you'll get the rewards. And on that note, we're going to go head ourselves to another advert break. We'll hopefully have Warwick Can, the head of performance for GB Basketball, on the phone after this break.